Good morning, everyone, or at least good morning from Canada. I hope everyone is doing well today. My name is Michaela Tamagi, and I am the University of Calgary Student Recruitment Advisor for students living in Southeast Asia. So welcome to all of you, wherever you are coming from. Hope that you are doing well. I'm just going to take this chance to do a quick poll. I just want to make sure that everyone can see me and hear the presentation. So if you can just select yes or no, and if no, we will troubleshoot in the chat really quickly. So I'll just give everyone a moment to fill that out. Just a moment here. Okay, it looks like we are good, so that is exciting. Alrighty, just give me one moment to get my presentation launched. All right, so before we begin, just a couple of housekeeping items. I'm hoping that if you have a phone available to you, that you can potentially give the QR code on this screen a quick scan. If you're not familiar with QR codes, there will be a couple throughout the presentation that you have the option of scanning. Basically a QR code, you're just going to open up your phone's camera and hover it over the image that you see, and it's going to take you to a web page. That web page is either going to ask you to fill in some information, or it might just provide you with a bit more detail on the thing that I'm talking about. This particular QR code is going to take you to a form, and my lovely coworker Carly is just going to pin that in the chat right now as well. That form is just going to ask you for some details, and it's essentially going to add you to my email list, and that's the way that we can stay connected to each other. So if you are interested in doing that, or you don't mind just sharing that information, that would be amazing and hugely helpful to me with my recruitment efforts in your region. All right, so again, hello everyone and welcome. This is the Choose UCalgary webinar for students living in South Asia. I hope you're all having a great day. I would love to hear where some of you are from. So if you wanted to put that in the chat, say hi to Carly, please feel free to do so. Again, my name is Michaela. I am the Student Recruitment Advisor for students living in Southeast Asia. So essentially my job is to support all applicants in Southeast Asia with the whole admissions process. And I also get the pleasure of sharing all of the really great details about our university with you. My coworker Carly is going to be here to support your questions in the chat. So if anything at all comes up throughout the presentation, please make sure that you put your question there. She'd be happy to help you with that. Alternatively, we will also have time for questions at the end of the presentation. So if you wanted to save it and just listen, that's also totally fine. All right, so before we get into the specifics of what the University of Calgary has to offer, I wanted to spend a few minutes talking about our location, as I do feel like our location is pretty incredible and it's one of our main selling points. So if you are here, I feel like chances are you've already considered studying abroad, and hopefully you've taken some time to consider Canada. Canada is an amazing country. It's actually been ranked the #1 country for quality of life in the entire world. And I think that is largely because of the fact that we are so safe, stable, and friendly. Canada is also a country that welcomes many, many international students. I think international students are drawn to our country for a variety of reasons. One of the main reasons probably being that we are so multicultural and welcoming of diversity. But the other reasons being that there are some incredible advantages from a post-secondary perspective. So one of those great advantages being that if you are a full-time student on a valid study permit, you are eligible to receive a work permit to stay, or sorry, if you are I lost my train of thought there. If you are a student on a valid study permit, you can work for up to 20 hours per week, and that could be on or off campus. And then if you are a graduate from a post-secondary institution in Canada, you're eligible to stay in the country for up to 3 years after graduation. So this is a really great destination for students who are looking to make a bit of a permanent transition abroad, as that 3 years for that working period after you graduate can be used to apply for permanent residency. All right, so looking at where Calgary is in relation to a number of the other major cities throughout Canada. One of my favorite questions to pose to students is to ask them how far they think it might be to drive to certain places. You can probably tell already that Canada is a very large country. So in fact, it is the second largest geographic country in the entire world. I'll give you a bit of a hint that it is about a 12-hour drive from Calgary to Vancouver. So let's just see if you can guess at how far it might be to get from Calgary to Toronto. So I'll just give you guys a few seconds to do that. The guesses would be 48 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours, or 8 hours. Okay, I see some different guesses coming in. No one's guessed 8 hours. That just kind of goes to show you recognize how long that distance is. Okay, awesome. Well, the correct answer is actually 48 hours. So about 40% of you guessed that. So good job to all of you. So yeah, about a 4-day drive to cover this distance between Calgary and Toronto. So yeah, Canada is a huge country. There's tons of varied landscapes within the country and just tons of different people and different perspectives and things like that here. So pretty unique place. If driving is not your thing or you don't think you're going to have a car during your time as a student, no need to worry, as we do also have plenty of flights and things like that that leave on a daily basis. So you can always explore other parts of the country by flying to those different cities rather than having to drive those long distances. Okay, so focusing in on Alberta now. Alberta is one of the 10 Canadian provinces. There's a number of exceptional things to make note of about Alberta. I think it's probably my favorite province in the entire country. One of the main things to note is that it is the only province without a provincial sales tax, and it's also one of the provinces with the highest minimum wage. What that means is that your money is going to go a lot further in this province and that it is a relatively affordable place to live with a low cost of living. This is also a province that is packed full of things to see and do. So if you are at all the adventurous type, this is the perfect place for you. Calgary is actually only about an hour away from the world famous Rocky Mountains, which are pictured here on the slide. So the Rocky Mountains provide many opportunities for students to explore. So doing things like hiking, skiing, snowboarding, backpacking, camping. You can do all of that and so much more here. Now looking now at the city of Calgary, so this is where the University of Calgary is located. Calgary is actually the 5th most livable city in the entire world and #1 in all of North America. That means that we have a truly exceptional quality of life here and that there is really something here for everyone. Some things that I like to make note of as far as employment opportunities. Calgary has really become a hub for the tech sector, and University of Calgary specifically is involved in some really interesting initiatives right now that are really going to grow this sector. So if you are someone who's interested in something like computer science or engineering, there's going to be thousands of new jobs coming to our city in the near future. Calgary is also a hub for small business. We actually have the 2nd most small businesses in all of Canada. And again, many of the owners and operators of these small businesses are also University of Calgary alumni, which kind of shows that we have a huge focus on entrepreneurial thinking and innovation and just really encouraging our students to create and follow their dreams. My favorite thing about Calgary has to be the lifestyle. So I am someone who loves to go out to eat. I love to be outside. And this city just offers so many opportunities for those things and so much more. We have 9 of Canada's top 100 restaurants. We have North America's most extensive pathway system and just so many other things to take advantage of. So looking in now at University of Calgary specifically, University of Calgary has been ranked amongst the world's top post-secondary institutions. And I think that is largely because we have such a focus here on learning that gets students outside of the classroom. So our learning is highly experiential, it's very research focused, and it's also very entrepreneurial in its approach. We are a top 6 Canadian research university. We're home to the DINOS, which I'll get in a brief moment here. But basically anybody that comes to University of Calgary becomes a DINO. You become part of the family. We're a really close-knit community with so many things to offer our students. This is an aerial shot of the University of Calgary campus. So you'll notice the QR code on the bottom right of the screen. Again, just feel free to open up your camera and scan the camera over this image. It'll take you to a page where you can see more of a 360 view of some of the incredible facilities and amenities on our campus. It is a very large campus, as you can probably tell. So home to 28,000 undergraduate students. And by Canadian standards, it is like a large university. So we have all of the amazing amenities that you could ever think of. One of the main amenities that I always like to highlight is the Taylor Family Digital Library. So Taylor Family Digital Library is North America's most technologically advanced libraries. So it's got tons of resources and spaces for you to enjoy. There's actually almost 8 million resources within this building. And as far as the spaces that you can utilize, there is an audio-visual editing suite, there's a virtual reality suite, computer labs, private study spaces, group study spaces. You name it, this building more than likely has it. Also just wanting to draw your attention to some of the surrounding area for University of Calgary. There is several different shopping areas. We have a mall. We're only about a 10-minute train ride from the downtown core in Calgary. So this is a campus that is situated quite well to the rest of the city, and it's going to be lots of opportunity to explore. As part of your student fees, you do get access to a student transit pass. And so essentially you can take the train or any buses and you won't have to pay any extra. And again, that's just a great way to kind of explore and see what the city has to offer. All right, so I have a quick video to share with you all. This is called A Day in the Life of Maria. Maria is an international student on our campus, and she's just a really great example of someone who has made the University of Calgary her home and fully taken advantage of everything that we have to offer.
My name is Maria Tencio. I am from Puerto Ordaz, Venezuela. I'm studying political science at University of Calgary. Moving from a different country, I was very scared when you're new in town and you're new at university. In UCalgary, you get the best professors, you get the best students that can actually support you. It's very important to me how multicultural University of Calgary is, because it allows inclusiveness throughout not only the UCalgary community, but in the city as well. I live downtown, which is actually my favorite part of the city. Every day I get to school through the bus or the trains, and it takes me around half an hour. One of my favorite places on campus, it's definitely the atrium at Administration Building. You get a very positive vibe, and you get to study, and you get to also enjoy a little bit of nature. I'm part of the University of Calgary Debate Society, and I think it's amazing. It has really helped me improve not only on my debate skills, but also in my English. And I think it's a great way to get to know your peers at University of Calgary. I also work at the Registrar's Office, specifically at Admissions and Recruitment. It's a great opportunity to help people to join the community at University of Calgary. I'm very happy to be at University of Calgary, and I hope that I can contribute as much as University of Calgary has contributed to my life.
All right, so I hope that you guys enjoyed that video and that it really shows you what your university experience could be like here. At the University of Calgary, we're really proud to offer a truly exceptional student experience. We provide many, many ways for our students to get involved, whether that be through leadership initiatives or volunteer programs. many student events throughout the year. One of the main things that I like to highlight, though, is our clubs program specifically. So we actually offer over 300 student clubs. So you can take part in clubs that are for particular interest areas. So whether you are interested in hiking or photography or board games, we have clubs for all of those things. If you wanted to join a club that's based around the academics that you're involved in, so maybe like an engineering club or some kind of business club, we have those available as well. There are also clubs for different faith and spirituality groups, as well as different nationalities. So if you're at all worried about finding your place or maybe meeting students who are similar to you, please don't worry, as we can really provide you with opportunities to connect. And yeah, clubs are just a great way to kind of get involved in things outside of your academics and to really start expanding your University of Calgary community. As I mentioned a couple slides ago, University of Calgary is home of the DINOS. So essentially anybody that comes to University of Calgary becomes a DINO. You become part of the University of Calgary family. But the DINOS is also the name of it's the mascot of our varsity sports team. So Rex, you can see him pictured here. He's kind of our university mascot. Very, very fun little dinosaur. But basically, yeah, varsity sports, these are sports played at a competitive level. So if you did want to become a DINO in that sense, just make sure that you check out godinos.com. This is going to be a really great place for you to connect with coaches and to kind of learn more about the recruitment process for that. If you're not an athlete or you're not interested in playing sports at a competitive level, no need to worry, as we can still kind of get you involved. DINOS games are super fun to attend. They're also free for students. So make sure that you do check out one of these games. It's a great way to kind of get integrated into the University of Calgary community and really show some great school spirit. Again, if you're not interested in playing sports at a competitive level, but you are interested in getting active during your time with us, you might want to check out one of our world-class amenities. So at the University of Calgary, we have several incredible facilities for you to utilize. Not only do we have the standard gym for you to do like a regular workout, we also have an aquatic center. We have a gymnastics center, an outdoor center, which is the largest of its kind in North America. Our campus is also home to the Olympic Oval, which is basically the ice surface that was used in the 1988 Olympics. It's North America's fastest ice surface, and it's completely free for students to skate during designated hours. So definitely check that out if you are interested in learning how to skate or maybe improving your skills on the ice. There's also other activities for students to get involved with, such as intramurals, fitness classes, and different sports clubs. Those can, again, be a great way to get active and to start expanding your University of Calgary community. If you're looking to make University of Calgary even more of a home, you might want to consider living on campus with us. So at the University of Calgary, we have a variety of double and single rooms available. For the most part, students who are in their first couple of years will live in a double room, so that means you'll have a roommate. First year students are obligated to be on the meal plan, but don't worry, the food is very yummy. It's also very healthy, and we can make it diet friendly. So if you have any dietary restrictions, such as maybe you're a vegetarian or you're halal, we can really accommodate that and make it work for you. There is a 2-year residence guarantee if you apply by May 1st within your application year. So just keeping that in mind. There's so many incredible reasons to consider living in residence, but I think the main one is that you just get access to a wonderful community. I know for myself, I lived in residence for almost 4 years while I was completing my undergraduate degree. And it was just, I found the #1 way to meet other students. And there were so many fun things going on all the time, whether it was a community dinner or some kind of social event. I know we would go to DINOS games together and things like that too. So just keeping in mind, you get access to all of that wonderful stuff by choosing to live on campus. I just wanted to talk briefly about the student supports that we have available here. I know that when I was transitioning from high school into university, I had no idea what was available to me. I really thought that the university was a place that I went to do my courses and to maybe, go to Mac Hall and hang out with some friends and have a coffee. Little did I know that there was all of the support that was accessible to me, but I really wish I had taken more advantage of this. So some great examples of supports that we offer would be, one being career services. So career services is going to be a team that can support students with getting work while they're going to school. So as I mentioned before, as an international student, you are eligible to work for up to 20 hours per week. So you might reach out to career services for help with interview skills or resume writing, and even just kind of helping you to find a job. We also have the Student Success Center. So Student Success Center is going to be an entire team that is dedicated to helping you with your academics and helping to ensure that you are academically successful. They're going to host workshops for things like writing or learning how to cite papers, improving your study skills, time management, all those sorts of things. And that can be really beneficial to you in ensuring that you do as well as you can academically. As an international student, I would say that the main support for you to be aware of is probably our International Student Services team. This is going to be a really good resource for you as you go through our application. If you are offered admission at the University of Calgary, you will be required to apply for a study permit in order to come to Canada. And this is basically the team that you can reach out to with any of those questions. International Student Services will also be a really great resource for you once you arrive in Canada. I can only imagine that it's a little bit intimidating coming to a brand new country, but we don't want you to be scared because we have so much support available to really ease that transition. So International Student Services will host a variety of social events and sightseeing trips throughout the year. Again, this is really with the intention of just ensuring that our international students feel supported and that you guys feel connected to each other and to the larger University of Calgary community. All right, so transitioning now into the academic side of things. Just as a reminder, if you do have any questions, please continue to put those in the chat and Carly will support you there. I'm just gonna ask Carly to post the link to our Explore Programs website in the chat now so that you guys can take a quick browse through that while I'm talking through the academics and what it is that we really offer. I do wanna just remind you that University of Calgary has been ranked within the top 250 institutions in the world. And that is truly based on the fact that we have an exceptional academic offering. Our goal as an institution is really to provide learning that is hands-on, that is research-focused, and also that is very entrepreneurial in its approach. So if you are a student applying from high school, we have 8 faculties available. So those include the Faculty of Arts, the Faculty of Science, Haskayne School of Business, Schulich School of Engineering, the Faculty of Kinesiology, the Workland School of Education, the Faculty of Nursing, and the Cummings School of Medicine. Now, I would be very interested in learning what program you might be interested in applying into. If you don't know, that's totally fine. But I would just encourage you to take a quick browse and to think about what it is that you might be interested in kind of exploring here. Again, Carly has posted the link to our Explore Programs website so you can find more detail about the specific majors that we offer as well as the unique admission requirements. I will just say now though, so we have 8 faculties, but there's actually over 250 program combinations, so tons of variety here. I do believe University of Calgary to be a very comprehensive university, so there honestly is something for everyone. So if you're not sure what you want to study, just start taking a look at your options and you can kind of try and narrow it down for there. All right, so I do see that there's quite a bit of interest in business. We have some people interested in science. A couple of people interested in education. That's exciting to me. I'm actually a graduate from the Workland School of Education. So if you have any questions about that program, you can feel free to ask me. Looks like some for engineering. And yeah, that's exciting. A couple for arts. The most important thing to remember is that regardless of the faculty that you apply into, there's going to be really incredible opportunities and amazing instruction regardless. So always keeping that in mind. All right, so as I mentioned, we offer over 250 program combinations. So when you do apply to the University of Calgary, you're basically going to make an application and you're going to apply directly into the program that you're interested in. I think this is a nice advantage because you do get to start studying what you want right away. We don't have a foundation year or anything like that. You're specifically going to be studying what it is that you're interested in. After you selected a major, we do have several ways that you can customize your degree. So an option would be to choose a minor in an upper year. You can do an embedded certificate as part of your degree. And you also have the option of applying into a combined degree. So basically, a combined degree is going to be a 5-year program where you earn 2 degrees, whereas a normal like 1 year or 1 degree kind of program would take 4 years to complete. As I mentioned, numerous areas of study. There's over 250 programs to choose from. I won't spend too much time on these slides because, again, you can refer to the Explore Programs website. But yeah, so many different options and lots of exciting things going on within each of these faculties. If you are looking for different ways to kind of enhance your overall education, we provide many, many opportunities. One of the main ways that I like to highlight is our work integrated learning, specifically co-ops and internships. So if you are not familiar with co-ops and internships, basically these are going to be paid work experiences. They're available through the faculties of Art, Science, Engineering, and Business, and they're just a really great opportunity for students to learn a little bit more about what they're doing in their field and to start developing meaningful connections that are going to be really helpful once you graduate. I know for myself, I had a couple close friends that actually did internships. They were computer science students. They did 16-week internships with those companies, and they actually went on to obtain full-time employment once they graduated. So that just kind of goes to show that these can be really impactful and really make you stand out as a candidate once you graduate. There's also plenty of other ways to get involved and to do some work experience throughout your degree. It's not always going to be paid work experience, but that doesn't mean that it's not still valuable. So there's going to be mandatory practicums in nursing education and kinesiology. As a graduate from the education program, I can really say firsthand how valuable that practicum experience was. I found it was where I learned the most and really came into my own as a teacher, and just, yeah, I can't say enough about that. Another really great way to add value to your degree here at the University of Calgary is to consider our study abroad program. Again, just wanting to draw your attention to the QR code on the bottom left of the screen. This is going to be a really great place to check out the different opportunities that are available and see if there's an adventure that might kind of fit your specific desires and dreams. I know I'm someone who absolutely loves to travel. That's kind of how I ended up in this role. I'm very fascinated by different places and cultures and people. And one of my biggest regrets from my undergraduate degree is that I did not do a study abroad. As an international student, it almost makes perfect sense for you to do study abroad, because a nice thing about University of Calgary is that regardless of where you go in the world, you will be paying University of Calgary tuition fees. So just keeping that in mind, you don't really pay any extra to go anywhere else. So it almost makes total sense just to take advantage of this and to really expand your horizons and choose to study somewhere else. Okay, so looking now at how you actually apply to the University of Calgary. How do you become one of the DINOS? So there's a few things to note. If you are a student who's looking to apply for fall 2022, the application for this intake is going to open up on October 1st, and it's going to close on March 1st. Now, we have a rolling admissions process here at the University of Calgary. So what that means is if your application is submitted early and is deemed to be complete, we can actually evaluate you right there and then, and we can potentially issue you a conditional offer to the university. Now, you might be wondering how that works if you're in progress to complete your grade 12. Well, basically, early admission means that we can evaluate you using what you have available at that time. So if it's a combination of grade 11 and 12 courses, that's awesome. We can use that potentially to issue you an offer, and then you can use that conditional offer letter to apply for your study permit. When the application opens, you're going to submit the application through our website. And then you're going to need to do a few things in order to be evaluated. The first thing you need to do is pay your application fee. So it's 145 Canadian dollars for international students. And then you're going to upload a few things to your student center that you get access to once you apply. So things like your proof of English language proficiency and your high school documents, whatever those might be. We will make it clear to you on your to-do list in the student center what it is that you exactly need to provide to us. So I mentioned English language proficiency. All students who apply to the University of Calgary are required to demonstrate their English language proficiency, and that is simply because the language of instruction at our institution is academic English, and we just want to make sure that you are successful in your programs. There are 3 ways to satisfy this requirement. The first one being to complete 3 years of high school in a curriculum such as American, Canadian, or British. So yeah, if you need more details around whether your school is accredited to offer that, you can always reach out to us and we can help you. The second way, and this is probably the most common way that students in Southeast Asia are able to satisfy the requirement, is to complete one of the approved English language tests. So something like an IELTS or a TOEFL or a Duolingo would be appropriate, just keeping in mind the required score. I did remember seeing that there was a student interested in education, so please just draw your attention to the right-hand side of the slide, making note that there are additional English language requirements for students applying into education or nursing. So we would require increased scores for IELTS and TOEFL, and we would not accept Duolingo for either of those programs. The third and final way to demonstrate your proficiency would be to complete the academic communication certificate through the University of Calgary. This is basically kind of like an English bridging program to an undergraduate degree. If that's something you're interested in learning more about, please make sure that you reach out to me. All right, so for admission into the vast majority of our programs, we're going to be looking at 5 faculty-specific subjects. Basically, what we do is we check to see that you have those 5 subjects, or at least that you're in progress to complete those subjects, and we're calculating your admission average based on those subjects. At the University of Calgary, we make our evaluation process relatively simple, so there is no entrance exams required, there is no personal statements or anything like that. For the vast majority of our programs, your evaluation really is based on whether you can present those 5 courses and if you can meet the competitive average for your program. Now, if you are an applicant interested in applying into our health science program or into one of the fine arts programs, there is a supplementary application required. If you wanted additional details about either or any of those supplementary applications, please feel free to reach out, or we can provide you more details in the chat. So as I mentioned, at the University of Calgary, admission is competitive. It is based on 5 faculty-specific subjects, and it's also based on whether you can meet the competitive average for your program. Now, that Explore Programs website that Carly shared with you is going to detail all of the different programs that we offer, and it's also really going to show you what the admission requirements are for your program and specific to the curriculum that you're studying. So as an example, if you are a student completing an American curriculum, but you're living in Malaysia, you can actually just select American curriculum on the online widget, and it's going to show you the specific requirements and the required GPA that you would need to get into one of these programs. So as an example, if I'm a student applying into the Bachelor of Arts in Law and Society, I'm going to be looking as an admissions officer for 5 specific courses. So English, 3 approved courses, and then a 5th approved course or option. The estimated competitive average for this program is going to be in the mid-70s or higher. You can find a list on the website as well as to what we accept as far as approved courses and options. So make sure you're just taking a full look through all of the information that's available. There's a couple of different drop-down menus and things like that that you can check out as well. A different example of program requirements, so the Bachelor of Science in Engineering, this is going to be a program that has much more specific requirements. So English, pre-calculus, calculus, chemistry, and then physics or biology. It's also one of our more academically competitive programs. So we're going to be looking for a competitive average that's roughly in the mid-80s or higher. Just making note though that for all of our programs, when I say that it's a competitive admissions process, we're always taking the students who have the highest admission averages. If you're slightly below what the estimated competitive average is, I would just recommend making a second choice on your application that is a program that has a slightly lower average, and this is really going to help you to potentially get a spot at the university. So I just have a couple other program examples. So the Bachelor of Kinesiology, you can see that there's 5 required courses listed here. Estimated competitive average in the high 80s. So again, this is one of our more competitive programs. Just a quick plug for the kinesiology program. It is actually the #1 sports medicine program in all of North America. So if you are a student who's interested in kinesiology, sports medicine, anything within that realm, this is going to be a really great institution for you to choose. They do some fascinating research and hands-on learning within kinesiology. I know that they tested a pair of David Beckham's cleats athletes in the past. They've done research for concussions in the past for the National Football League in the United States, and just a ton of other really interesting initiatives. If you're not a student in kinesiology, you can actually get involved with this research still. They might ask you to run on a treadmill or do something along those lines, and it would all really help with their research that they're conducting. Another program that I wanted to highlight, so the Bachelor of Science in Computer Science. This is one of the most popular degrees that we offer right now, and I'm noticing a lot of students from Southeast Asia taking keen interest in this program. Again, so the 5 required courses, we're going to be looking for English, mathematics, 2 sciences, and then 1 other course. So it can be approved course or option. Again, one of our more competitive programs, so estimated competitive average in the high 80s. I think I mentioned this earlier in the presentation, but Calgary is really a hub for the tech sector right now. And the University of Calgary is involved in some different projects that are going to bring at least 1,000 new jobs to the city of Calgary. So just keeping that in mind. It's a very expansive market right now for this particular industry, and so there should be lots of jobs available by the time that all of you would be graduating. All right, so conditional offers of admission. I did mention that if you were a student who applies early, so say you apply in October and all you have available is grade 11 courses, or at least you're not done all of the required grade 12 courses, so you maybe have a combination of grade 11 and 12. No worries on that, because we can issue you a conditional offer of admission. So basically a conditional offer means that you are being offered a spot based on your grade 11 and 12 coursework, but we do need to review you once your grades are finalized, so once you're done grade 12, just to ensure that you've been able to do a couple of things. So we would need you to maintain your offer, we need you to complete all of your required courses, we need you to submit your final documents, and we also need you to graduate from high school. Conditional offers are great because you can use that to initiate the study permit process, and you can also use them to kind of initiate other things at university, so things like applying for residence and all of that. All right. So I have one last section of my presentation to share with you all. Again, keep the questions coming. I can see that the chat's been pretty busy. That's really nice to see. For the last section of this webinar, I'm just going to be talking about awards. Yeah, one of the main questions that I get from international students is whether you are eligible for awards. The answer is yes. I'm just going to ask Carly to link the awards website right now in the chat, so you can take a look there and kind of browse through the different things that are available. But just to give you a bit of an overview, University of Calgary, we have a lot of money available to give to students. So over $17 million are given away annually. And I always like to tell students to think about this money being part of 3 separate buckets, or 3 different groups of money. The first bucket of money is going to be our automatic admission awards. So automatic admission awards are those that you do not need to apply for in order to be considered. You just need to apply for admission at the University of Calgary. So there's 2 main automatic admission awards, the President Admission Scholarship and our International Baccalaureate Diploma Entrance Scholarship. So if you were an IB student and you have an overall score of 35 or greater on your IB diploma, we can issue you an award for $2,000 as long as you maintain that average by the end of the school year. We also have the President Admission Scholarship. This one is valued at 5,000 Canadian dollars, and it's automatically given to any entering first-year student with an admission average of 95% or greater. Again, if you are an IB student and you have an overall score of 40 or greater, you would actually be eligible for both of these awards. So you'd be looking at a total award value of $7,000. The vast majority of our awards at the University of Calgary, you do need to apply for. However, we make it quite simple in that we only have 2 awards applications. So Prestige Awards is one of our award applications. This is an award application that's due by December 1st, so it is a really good idea to apply for admissions early so that you have enough time to get this application in. Prestige Awards are going to be awards that are based on your academic merit, so mostly students who are about in a 90 or higher average are going to be the ones who are the most competitive for these awards, but we always encourage students to apply, as you just never know what your final grades could end up being, and if what you could be eligible for. The International Entrance Scholarship is probably one of the most highly sought after. Its total value is $20,000, and some of the awards are renewable, so you could be looking at a total award value of $80,000. We give away about 30 of the awards for $20,000, and then about 3 to 5 that are renewable, so for up to $80,000. So definitely get your name in for that. It's a huge chunk of money. It can go a long ways towards financing your education. The other award application is our High School Entrance Awards. High School Entrance Awards is going to be where we consider things like your extracurriculars and your financial need. The scholarships within this category have a lot of different criteria. So as you can kind of see from the slide, one of the great examples is the Dean Wurrison Scholarship in Engineering. So if you're a student applying into engineering, I believe they look at the students with the most competitive averages for this one. But if there's ever a tie, they actually award it to the student who lives the furthest away. So if you are a student living in Southeast Asia currently, that's going to make you a very likely candidate for something like this. High School Entrance Awards, the application is not due until March 1st, so you do have quite a bit of time to submit that. This chart here just really breaks down, whether there's an application required for the award, how long it takes, the total award values, and also the deadlines. If you wanted to take maybe a screenshot or just take a couple quick notes, this is kind of a good place to refer to. There are also a number of external awards offered from organizations and institutions across the world. So just keeping in mind that University of Calgary Scholarship Program is not the only money that is available to you. If you are an international student and you're a little bit worried about how you might finance your education and make University of Calgary a dream school come true, please make sure that you're looking into external awards because there is a lot of money available. People just need to apply. All right, so with money on the mind, let's just take a quick few minutes to talk about how we can budget for the tuition and living expenses at the University of Calgary and in Canada in general. So again, the QR code on the bottom left of the screen, this is going to take you to our undergraduate student cost estimator. Using this cost estimator, you are able to basically select your citizenship as well as the faculty that you're wanting to apply into, and you'll be able to see what the estimated fees are specific to your faculty of interest. The fees do change slightly depending on what you're interested in, so please just make note of that. But on average, our international students can expect to pay around 23,000 Canadian dollars for their tuition. That would be the cost of 1 full year or 10 courses. That's around $16,000 if you're more familiar with US dollars. We often encourage students to budget around $10,000 additional dollars for the cost of living and for your books and supplies and other fees. So on average, you're looking at a total amount of about $33,000 to $35,000 per year. Now, I completely understand that that is a rather large number and it might be a bit intimidating for some. However, I do hope that you feel empowered by the information I've given you today. Remember that we have a competitive awards program and that you should most definitely apply. We're also having this conversation relatively early, so there is things that you can do to start planning for these expenses. Maybe you try and work for a while to save some money. Maybe you start having conversations with your parents. Maybe you look into taking out a loan from your bank, something like that. There's lots of different ways that we can really offset these costs. Another great thing to keep in mind is that your study permit allows you to work. So being able to work for 20 hours per week, it can really help you to kind of offset these costs as well, or at least save a little bit of money for other miscellaneous things that you might want to do while you're here. I always like to spend a moment just also saying that if you have looked into other Canadian universities or if you've done any research on institutions in the United States, University of Calgary's tuition is relatively affordable by comparison. So I do believe that you get the best of both worlds here. You're going to get a very world-class and high-quality education, but at a rate that is a bit more affordable than the national average. All right, so let's just do a bit of a recap of the application process. So just keeping in mind that the application opens up on October 1st. This is for the fall 2022 intake. It's going to close on March 1st of 2022. And you'll have until March 15th of 2022 to provide your documents. So things like your proof of English language proficiency, as well as your high school transcripts. Now, I did mention that we have a rolling admissions process, and so that means that it's always best to apply early in the cycle. As a competitive university, our programs do fill up, and so that's why we really encourage students to apply a little bit earlier. Once you've applied for admission, you'll be able to provide your documents and submit scholarship applications through your student center, so please make sure that you check there, and you can also monitor the progress of your application through the student center. A reminder that scholarship applications are due December 1st for Prestige Awards and March 1st for High School Entrance Awards. Okay, so that is basically all that I have to share. I feel that there are 1,000,001 good reasons to choose the University of Calgary, but I just want to recap 5 for you. So number 1, excellence in academics. I mentioned that we are in the top 250 institutions worldwide as far as our academic offerings. We have over 250 program choices, so there's so much variety and so many quality experiences for you to take part in. Number 2, research opportunities. So regardless of the faculty that you are admitted into, there will be opportunities for you to conduct research or for you to work with professors and work with them on their research. As a research-focused institution, this really helps to cultivate a generation of problem solvers and critical thinkers, so please keep that in mind if that's something that you were interested in developing. Number 3, a caring community. University of Calgary is a very large campus. However, I really feel that we're able to maintain a small campus feel. That's simply because we offer so much support to our students and so many different ways for you guys to connect with each other, whether that be through student clubs, different events, and all sorts of other things. Number 4, the opportunity to earn while you learn. So a really competitive and highly sought after co-op and internship program is going to give you the opportunity to make money while you are also learning and developing meaningful connections. And number 5, last but not least, an adventurous lifestyle. So University of Calgary is located within about an hour of the world-famous Rocky Mountains. These mountains provide opportunities for students to do things like skiing and snowboarding and hiking and camping. While you obviously choose a university based on the academics and a lot of other different things before where it's really located, it's something to keep in mind. You know, you may as well have a bucket list destination close by while you were attending university. Okay, so if you are looking to connect with me after today's presentation and we do not have a chance to answer your question, or maybe you just want to ask it in private, please know you can contact me at any time. My email is seasia.recruiter@ucalgary.ca. I'm available on WhatsApp, and I also take one-on-one appointments with students. So if you are looking to book a one-on-one appointment because maybe your questions seem a little bit complicated or you really just wanted to connect with me, please just send me an email, so seasia.recruiter@ucalgary.ca, and you will find the link to book a meeting with me, or I can send it directly to you. The meetings are about 20 minutes in length, so just keeping that in mind. It's always good to come prepared with some questions, and we can kind of talk through those relatively quickly. Okay, so I know that the chat has been rather busy. Carly's been doing an amazing job at answering your questions. Maybe I'll just touch base with Carly quickly on my end and see if there's any questions she wasn't able to answer. I'm just going to keep an eye on the top of the chat too to see if any new questions come in. Okay, it looks like we are good. Okay, if you do have any other questions, I would love for you just to ask those in these last few minutes. What I am going to do is just play you guys one final video. This really highlights the incredible spirit of University of Calgary, and hope it gets you excited about the possibility of studying with us. So again, if you do have any other questions, please put those in the chat, and we'll spend the last few minutes of the webinar just addressing those.
Tomorrow. Tomorrow is not just an idea or a dream.
It's the promise of a new day and a better world. Tomorrow belongs to the change makers and the risk takers, the passionate, the daring, and the bold.
This is our tomorrow. All of us, together.
This is where and how we live, shaped by our community, our neighbors, our friends, and our rivals.
Shaped by those who challenge us to think bigger, move faster, and achieve more. By those who came before us and fashioned this university from sheer determination.
We're pioneers at heart, innovators by necessity, and community builders because, well, we're from Calgary, where that legendary can-do spirit has blossomed into a will-do commitment.
And like Calgary, this university attracts people from around the world with ambitious dreams and the courage to fulfill them.
We educate students to become community builders. We conduct research that changes the world. And we enhance the intellectual, social, and cultural landscape of our region.
It's true. Our campuses draw disruptors, instigators, and challengers of convention. Those who seek and share answers to society's greatest challenges. Because tomorrow demands global attention to challenges we can only begin to imagine.
Tomorrow our students are preparing for now, and our researchers are striving to understand.
A tomorrow we're ready to face, fueled by the energy and passion of our students, postdoctoral scholars, faculty, staff, alumni, donors, and cherished friends.
By discovering and creating new ideas that have a meaningful impact on the world around us, we can improve our world and deliver the promise of a new tomorrow together.
I always love that video. I just feel like it gives a really great overview of what we have to offer and just the energy that we as University of Calgary students and staff really have and bring to the city as well. So keep your questions coming. I'm just having Carly answer those last few. While you guys are just sending in your last few questions, if any of you are still here and you don't have any questions, I just wanted to promote our open house quickly. So open house is going to be a digital event this year. You can scan the QR code to register if that's of interest. It's going to be happening on October 2nd from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So please make sure that you do convert that time to your time zone. I'm actually just going to link a tool that you can use to do that in the chat. Just a moment. Actually, I'll just put it directly in the chat. Or maybe Carly can do that for me. But a little bit more about open house. There's going to be a number of digital tours that are happening. There's going to be a faculty fair, and there's also going to be some discovery sessions. So this is a really good opportunity to dive a little bit deeper into what we offer and to see if you can connect with faculty that might be able to answer more specific questions and just really find out whether we are the university for you. There's also the opportunity to scan this QR code and find out even more information about upcoming events and campus tours. We do as much as we can to connect students with different opportunities to learn, so please feel free to browse all of that, and yeah, it'll give you a really great taste of what we offer here. Okay, so that is essentially it from me. If there's any final questions, we would love to hear them. But if not, I want to say thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being here and for even taking a moment to consider University of Calgary. We're really, really proud of what we offer as a university, and we hope that you guys are excited about the possibility of applying with us. But if there are no final questions, I will be ending the webinar, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.